Hey guys, what's up? It's ItsAnnaLouise and welcome to my channel. Today's video is going to be one that I'm pretty excited for because I've done this basically the same type of video before in the past. If this is your first time to my channel, I'm a betta breeder. I am currently working on my 5th spawn right now, but I have bred quite a few fish before in the past and had quite a few different spawns, and each one of them are very worthy of comparing. They're all different, like each one is completely different and just has, you know, different qualities about them and things to note. And while I did a video like this before, it was probably a year ago, honestly now, or at least around a year ago, and that video did really well. You guys really seemed to love it. Basically what I did is compared 2 of my spawns together and kind of compared their similarities to differences. I believe the one that I did, I compared my first ever spawn to my second spawn. It was either that or my second and my third. I know I compared my marble half moons to what I believe was my like koi plakat. So what we're going to be doing in today's video is comparing my spawn that is currently for sale right now. It's almost sold out. I have 4 females left, my DUMBO HALFMOON / plakats, with my previous spawn that are my NEMO HALFMOON kois. And I still have the father, obviously, Pennywise. He's very well known on my channel. A lot of you guys absolutely love him. He's beautiful. Obviously, I still have him. He's doing great. But today, we're going to be comparing those 2 sets of fish. So, the NEMO kois versus the DUMBO HALFMOON. So, if you're interested in kind of seeing the differences between those 2 spawns, kind of looking at them as a whole and kind of comparing them with both of their similarities and their differences, and then keep on watching today's video. Okay, you guys, so let's go ahead and first address the NEMO koi HALFMOONs. They were my most previous spawn that I did, not my current one, but my previous one. Their dad is Pennywise, the mother was Kathleen. They're both beautiful NEMO kois. They were absolutely gorgeous parents, and I was so excited for that spawn. Now, the spawn did not go exactly how I planned. A lot of you guys absolutely loved that spawn, and you guys are still sending me pictures of your babies that you got from me that are now adults that have fully blossomed into their koi, you know, their full koi stage, and they're so beautiful. But that spawn definitely did not go as I planned, and it was completely different. And I mean completely different than my most recent current spawn, my DUMBO HALFMOON / plakats. So first of all, when talking about the NEMO kois, I definitely want to mention that the biggest kind of letdown / eye-opener thing to me was that most of them at the time that I sold them hadn't even changed into koi yet. They were mainly just blue and red. So I had like a whole big group of blue and red, you know, bettas that had these gorgeous NEMO koi parents, and they hadn't transitioned yet. And at that time, although I knew they would, I didn't know how long it would take, and that was kind of like a upsetting thing for me, I guess. And it wasn't that I didn't love them, because I did, but it was kind of like, okay, this is definitely a learning experience here, figuring out of, you know, how they do, how long it takes them to change, stuff like that. I basically believe I had maybe 3 actually be sold as kois. 1 was koi from the beginning. The other 2, I believe, kind of changed afterwards, but only really about 3 were able to be sold as kois. But I will say, so many of you guys have sent me in your fish to this day that have, you know, started out as blue and red, and they are gorgeous kois now. Some of them looking exactly like their father Pennywise, some looking different, but oh my gosh, so gorgeous. Just the beautiful NEMO koi pattern, I love it so much. And I like look at these fish and I'm like, ugh, if only they were like that when I sold them, because that is something that I was so excited to see. But nonetheless, I'm glad that they did go ahead and transition over. I knew they would. Like I said, I just didn't know how long it would take. But other than it just taking a long time for them to turn into the kois that they are, those kois are technically a fancy marble anyway. They're all in that family. These fish also grew very slow. Now, in comparing it to the fish that I have right now, my Dumbos, oh my goodness. That was the most craziest experience with raising fish that I've had. These fish grew mega fast. They almost looked full size at a month old. and maybe that's exaggerating a little bit because my mind's a little weary. They had most of their color and were pretty big at 1 month old. At 2 months old, they definitely looked like adults. That's probably a little more accurate. But wow, they grew so fast. They got their color so fast, and it was just amazing. So like I said, by 1 month to 2 months, they were already looking really old. My Nemo koi spawn, when they were really little, around 1 month to 2 months, they still looked really small. Even when it was time to go ahead and sell them, they were still really small. You know, they weren't really big. They were always a smaller spawn, all of them in general. And I know just now they're starting to get really big, and it's been a hot minute since those guys have been sold. So definitely on the more smaller end, they definitely grew a lot slower. If you guys remember this spawn, they grew so fast. But the way I discovered I even had betta babies on this spawn will probably forever be my favorite, besides my first ever spawn, because I'll obviously always have a special place in my heart for them. But if you guys remember, back when I first found out I had my Dumbo betta babies, if you don't remember, go and watch that first Betta Breeding Diary Season 2 episode having to do with the Dumbo babies being born. I was shocked because I had no idea they were babies. I walked over, I believe it was to feed my geckos. I jarred the tank and all of a sudden they started sprinkling down, and I was shook. Like, I did not know they were there. I thought that my breeding attempt was unsuccessful. I hadn't even touched that tank in a couple of days, but yet they were there, and it was such an amazing discovery. I will not ever forget that. It was amazing. And from that point, they were fighters, and not only were they fighters, they grew fast, strong, and hardy, which brings me to my next point of major difference between the two spawns. This spawn in particular, out of all of the other ones that I've had, there was not one betta that had some kind of that had something wrong with it, like a spinal deformity or something that would lower the quality of life, or at least lower the quality of life for a little while, if that makes sense. So with my Nemo koi bettas, I did have a couple that kind of developed something, whether it was just a swim bladder issue that was kind of chronic, or a kind of a spinal problem. Although I know at least one of the ones that had that grew out of it, but a couple of them did have problems. They would have struggles swimming from the bottom to the top to get their food and stuff like that, and would kind of lay on their side a lot and not be as active. I definitely had some of those in my Nemo koi line, but as for my Dumbo bettas, from the beginning, they were all so healthy and so strong, and they were great. I mean, honestly, the only thing that I had different with the Dumbo bettas to the Nemo kois was there was the one beautiful fish. I love her so much. She will always have a special place in my heart. That had the little cleft lip, but that was just literally a cosmetic little problem there. Nothing to be concerned about, not a spinal issue or swim bladder issue. So other than that, they were all so healthy. Another thing I do want to mention, they had perfect form pretty much. I know that in the last spawn, like I said, there was a couple that had a little bit, off, with the spinal problems and etc. that would make them have a little tweak to having really good form. But with this spawn, they all seem to have really good form, including number 17, for instance, who is amazing, including number 5 and 6. The form on those guys are top notch. I mean, amazing. And basically so were all the other ones. So I really truly did get lucky with this spawn. I mean, they proved to be little miracles from the beginning. How they even existed is beyond me. I don't understand that. I don't think I ever will. But I feel like I've talked kind of negatively about my Nemo koi line, and I'm not necessarily meaning to talk negatively. It's just that really, all in all, and this is with all of my babies that I've ever had, this Dumbo spawn has been the healthiest, fastest growing ones that I have had. So obviously I'm not really in behind the science of it all, so whether that's just a Dumbo thing in their genetics or not, I'm not for sure. But it is really interesting to note. So really, other than that, there's not a lot of similarities to the two spawns. I will say they both did pick up to non-living food very fast, which is always a good thing for me, because as we all know, I've said it so much on my channel that living food is a necessity to these babies for the first at least a month. and then they can start being weaned off, but it is definitely a necessity. And then to also just keep it going with the non-living food as well. And you know, it can be a nerve-wracking thing to try to transition them, but at least those 2 spawns were really good at picking up on the food fast, so that's a plus. But if I'm being honest, that is really, while you know, me just sitting here, the only thing that I can see about that spawn being similar. It's just they were so different. But anyway, just to reiterate one more time, the biggest differences between the two was my Nemo koi spawn grew a lot slower. My Dumbos grew a lot faster. The Nemo kois had a couple of like problems with spinal issues, etc. The Dumbos, all perfect, no like kind of, you know, issue going on with them in any way, shape, or form that would hinder, you know, their swimming abilities or anything like that. Although this kind of goes with the growth, the Dumbos grew their color way faster than the Nemo kois. And then another thing, although my Dumbos are not kois, the Nemo kois took forever to start turning koi. Like till after I sold them. So those are basically the main points I wanted to hit in comparing my previous spawn to my current spawn. It's really interesting to see the differences, so I thought it would be fun to kind of lay that all out for you guys in a video in case you were curious. Let me know down below what you think. Which was your favorite? Was the Dumbo spawn that I have right now your favorite? Or was the Nemo koi your favorite? Let me know down below because I'm extremely interested in knowing what you guys think. And other than that, I'm gonna go ahead and end it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it and learned a little something. I wanna go ahead and say thank you to my patrons as always. Dylan and Courtney, Jeremy, Maddie, Davis, Mercy, Janae, Jesse, Amanda, Mel, Crystal, Steven, Natalie, and Jill. Thank you guys so much for being patrons. It really means the world to me. And if any of you guys want to be patrons, the link will be in the description box down below. It helps me out so much and you get a lot of awesome perks, so definitely make sure to check that out. And other than that, please make sure to give my video a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, which you can do by hitting my face right up there. And you can watch another one of my videos by clicking right down there. And other than that, I hope you have a great day or night or whenever you may be watching this. Please stay safe out there during all of this craziness going on. And I'll see you guys in my next video.